VO2 max is an assessment of how much your body can, utilize oxygen to a maximal capacity before fatigue. Athletes utilize it to see how well they're going to perform, and they use it as a threshold towards your training. Well, there's also a mortality benefit. The higher your VO2 max is, the less likely you're going to succumb to diseases or die from anything. Your all-cause mortality will go down with better VO2 max. If your VO2 max is low, it's equivalent to having poorly controlled diabetes, equivalent to having already established coronary artery disease, poorly controlled diabetes for high blood pressure, but not as bad as end-stage renal disease. That's super bad. But if you go from low VO2 max to just average, you can improve your survival rate by 50%. So and there's no upper threshold of benefit. Even elite athletes, you're getting to 80, 90, 100, which is under. But there's no upper threshold of benefit. So the harder you work, the more benefit you'll get. And even if you are diabetic or hypertensive or have vascular disease, your risk of having mortality associated with it will be down because of your fitness level. So I brought a couple charts to give an understanding of it's gonna be hard to see. So let me see if I can make this a little bigger. So based on your age, your low fitness level, if you're 25 years old, that means you could walk 3 miles per hour up a steep hill. But elite would be running 10 miles per hour at that age. Say if you're 50, that means low would be you can only walk 3 miles per hour at a slight incline. Or average would be running at that speed. So, it's not a huge jump from walking on an incline to running on an incline. Or, 3 miles per hour is not terribly fast, but it can be challenging for some people, especially if you are just exercise naive. You haven't worked out for 20 years, you had kids, things like that. You just neglected yourself. I'll get to it, you never do. So, definitely important to get to. What are the things that can improve your VO2 max? Cardiovascular exercise. What does that mean? That's usually categorized as zone 2 or zone 3 training. Zone 2, if you're not familiar with what that means, a good way to measure it is we use a term called relative perceived exertion. So you can carry on a conversation, you're breathless, but you can speak the full sentence. Once you break that point where you can't speak that full sentence, you've entered into zone 3. So that's a good gauge of where staying in zone 2. If you could do zone 2, that's very good for cardiovascular fitness and mitochondrial health. And overall, it will improve your VO2 max. Over 12 weeks, you should see about a 10 to 15% improvement. If you combine that with EMS, you'll have 30% additional benefit because the amount of muscles that are activated, the amount of oxygen you'll be consuming with that activity. HIIT will have the highest VO2 max gain, and then EMS on top of HIIT will give you an additional 30%. So HIIT will give you about 20 to 25% gain in about 12 weeks. What type of exercise should you be doing? There's no one size fits all for everybody, but definitely I recommend high resistance strength training a couple times a week. Does it mean someone who's exercise naive should jump straight into it? Absolutely not. Start at 20 to 30% of your maximal threshold. Train form. There's no number of reps you can do. There's no maximum number of reps that can be done before you can injure yourself unless your form is incorrect. Then you will start injuring yourself because of fatigue and you'll have muscle imbalance. That's another benefit I recommend my patients come to EMS or get this type of training. Not only are you having a trainer work with you, without your cognitive effort, you're balancing your muscle activity. So people's standing balance, their gait, their overall muscle load on both sides is improved. So they're reducing the rate, they're reducing their back pain because of fatigue or imbalance. They're performing better, and so what I found, people reported that the pain threshold is improved. They're not taking as medications as much.